Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today, I'm going to teach you 5 more bass lines that everyone will recognize. Alright, so as I said, we're going to be going over 5 more beginner bass lines. Some not as beginner, but definitely more beginner than some of our ones last time, and not as beginner as some of our ones last time. I know that's kind of confusing, but last week I had some that were quite easy, such as Under Pressure by Queen. I also had some more difficult ones, such as Hysteria by Muse. This time I really focused down, but also I want you to keep in mind, not all these are fingerstyle. I do have some different techniques. So without further ado, let's just go get into it. Let me grab the bass, hook myself up, and we can get playing. Alright, so now I have my bass with me, and we're about to get into our first song, but I just wanted to clarify something since I know last week I used my jazz bass, and I'm going to be using it again this week, and I doubt any of you were really wondering about that, but I wanted to clarify it if anyone did notice that I had been using a Music Man for a little while, and now I'm pretty much only using the jazz bass, and that's because we've been working a lot on beginner stuff, and I know you guys can't read it, and you rarely ever see the headstock of this bass because basses are pretty big, and my camera I actually have somewhat zoomed in. But the reason that you've been seeing this is because I've actually been covering all beginner bass lines. So I wanted to show you that you don't need a fancy instrument like that one. You said I'm actually using a Fender Squier right now for my jazz bass, and I wanted to show you guys that you can do it with any instrument. You don't need a fancy 24 fret 6-string bass to play every song. You can use just a Squier 20 fret bass. It's not that difficult. Yeah, let's just go hop into song number 1. Alright, so for our first song, we have Hit Me With Your Best Shot by Pat Benatar. So, majority of people know this song. So I'm just going to play this for you so you guys can hear it. And then we will get into it. And you guys will be watching my left hand today, so you can really see what I suggest for fingering. And for some of them, I may show you my right hand a little bit, just so you can see technique. But for this one, you really only need to see my left hand. So here we go. Sorry, I forgot to turn on my hand. I have it all hooked up, but it was buzzing. Here we go. So that is the main riff. Now let's get into how to play it. As I'm sure you saw, I use a lot. There's a lot of pinky. That's because we're doing a lot of stretching. So we start on an open E, and that is a quarter note. So what you'll also notice is there's a lot of difference between last week and this week's tabs, and this one's really the only one that's like that, just because format-wise, this is the only thing that worked. So you'll see above that there's a capital Q, and that just means that it's a quarter note. So we start with a quarter note of an E. And I like to kind of mute it because you do see that there's then an 8th note of a rest. So just alternating on the A. And the reason you see the 2 in parentheses in that second bar is because it's indicating you want to just hold it out for a half note. So you just play open, E, then open, rest, open, open, 4 with the pinky, and then hold it out. And that's all you really have to do for the first half. And then the second half is a little more running around, where there's much less rests. As you can see, it's open, 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 4, 4, 2, 2, open, open, 2, 2. That one's a lot faster because majority of it is actually 8th notes. So let's run that all nice and slow. Here we Alright, now let's speed that up to speed and play along together once you have practiced that line. And it's nice and easy. play that one more time to make sure that you guys can accurately hear the line. We will move on. All right. So I hope that that helped you learn that song. Move on to song number 2. All right. For number 2, we are doing "Come Together" by the Beatles. I'm gonna play this one so you can see it, and then we will move on to how to play. Alright, so that's nice and easy, nice and slow. Move on to how to play it. Alright, so this song, as you can see, is really easy. There are a couple of different ways to play it. We're going to work on the one that's on the tab, but I will show you a different way that is actually, in my opinion, slightly easy. So on the tab, it has you starting on the 5th fret. I'm going to suggest start with your index finger on the 5th fret. It's just 8th, 8th. And then you're actually going to want to slide with your ring finger and pinky. So sorry, you need to hit that 10th fret. So hit to slide. Nice and simple, right? All right, let's play that all. 3. Continue. And we will now and let's try and play that full speed. Alright, so now I want to show you guys one more method to play that. You may find a little easier, especially if you have small hands or you don't know how to shift well yet. So the other method is you actually, instead of using the 5, you use the 10 on the E. It's the same note. You do is you hit the same note, same as the 5. Then you actually slide down, and then this part's the part's difficult. I play it this way, where I do this, then I roll my index. I play almost all of it with my index finger, because it's easier than reaching back. I just slide and then angle my index finger up, and that works because I have a knuckle there that works. But play it how you would like to, fingering wise, and just everything works. All right, let's move on to number 3. For number 3, you will need a pick. All right, so for this one, I'm not actually going to have the tab up immediately, just because I would like you guys to watch me play it, and then I'm going to go over it. One is tuned a half step down to E flat, A flat, D flat, and G flat, but because of some minor changes, you actually don't have to do that. You can either play it directly on the 7, like you'll see in the tab, or you can move it up half a step. That one is completely up to you. You just have to decide how you want to play it. Long view. I'm going to play it twice for you. Once on my right hand, once on my left. There's my left hand, and I'm sorry about the little mistake up there. I randomly read the rhythm wrong, but here we go. Move down to my right. I'm using a pick, so you'll watch my technique and then I'll go over it. So For your picking hand, you're going to want to actually stay by the bridge. I'll go over all this in a second. Alright, let's get into how to play this. So we're going to start with your right hand and how to play this technique. So first, what you're going to do is you're going to make sure you're holding the pick right. If you have not already, go check out over there my quick guide on how to play with the pick. It has been updated since then. I have not uploaded it yet, but I'm gonna do an updated guide in the coming future. They did actually play it wrong in that where I said play wherever you want, wherever's most comfortable. You really should be playing it down by the bridge, because then you can also palm mute, which is another technique that I'll cover in another video. So make sure you go check out that video up there, and let's move on to how to do this. So what you're going to do is it's going to be the same as finger picking. However, you're going to hold this. So on one side, you're going to have your thumb crossing it almost like a T or a cross, where you have the pick becoming an extension of your index finger, and then your thumb. You'll see how I'm holding it. Depending on which way you look at it, it's a little easier to see. Then you just come down here, come down to the bridge, right over the bridge, pick up my jazz bass. Depending on what type of bass, different. And depending on what type of player you are, it could be different. Some people play a little differently, and since this is a Green Day song, they tend to play it on a P bass right up in the middle. So it completely depends on you. But here we go. So I'm going to show you guys the tab. We're going to get into this a little bit. All right, so this is the first half of the tab. So I'm doing this one in half again so you guys can see my hand. So we're going to start with the right hand. We start with this one on the A string on the 7th fret. So this one's actually fairly easy. You'll see, just is down, down. Actually, I tend to do down, up, down, down, up. You can just watch my hand and try and figure it out, but feel it out for yourself. There's no real right or wrong way to pick this. Let's just go over what we read. So we start with 7, 9, 7, 6, 7, 5, 7, 6, 5. It says 9. I'm actually going to correct. 9 may be a little easier for you, depending on your size hand. But it also may not. So I'm going to go over both versions. So the first version is the way you have it on here. So and what that is it's going up to the 9. The other way is 5, 4. So if you have smaller hands, I'll show you that to you when we get to our left hand technique. So let's run this one together. Just practice your fingering. Your picking. I don't care about your left hand yet. We'll get into that in a second. Ready? Nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So the picking stays the same up until the very end. So we're actually just going to go over our left hand for this section. Then we will move. All right. So for this section on our left hand, it's a little different. So I'm going to suggest start on your 7th fret. Ooh, you have a wire in the way. Wire, move. Move, please, wire. There we go. Okay. I'm much quieter now. Uh-oh. Okay, there. Is that better? Yes, it is much better. We're going to up my volume. There we go. Okay, now you can hear me. There we go. All fixed. Okay, so for this one, we're going to watch. Start on your index finger. Up to the pinky on the 9. And then you're going to just shift back from that 7 to the 6. And then middle finger onto the 7. And then you're going to shift down to the index finger. And then you'll shift up to that 9 and then back down to the 7. Your other option is to play it the other way I was talking about with 5 to 4, which looks a little something like this. I know it's a little glary, so let me quickly fix that so you guys can correctly see my left hand. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to go over this one more time, just this first half. So. So there you have two different options. You can either play the first way I showed you, or you can play with that 5-4, where you have options where you can either go middle finger to index or index to index, similar to Come Together. Completely up to you. And you should play that. Just let's work on this one by just playing this all together nice and I actually played a little over there. But let's get into the second half of this tab. So we're going to start on my left hand, and I'm going to show you how to play this section, and then I know the second half looks confusing. I'll go over all of it. For this one, it's nice and slow. Just same as beginning, and then nice chords. So you're just going to fret. You fret it like you're playing the actual note. And 7, 6, 7. With your right hand, which I'll show you in just a second, you're also going to be striking the D string. So let's go over to that right hand so you guys can see what. All right, so when my hand is down here and we do that, it's just going to be. So it's all going to be downstrokes for this one, because upstrokes are kind of weak, even if you're going up and down. So you're going to want to do all downstrokes. Just. It's nice and easy, right? Let's run through the entirety of this. Let me just pull up the tab for you, and then you'll be good to go. All right, let's play this all nice and slow. That was a little faster than some of you may have handled, so let's go even. All right, so now we're going to speed that one up. Whoops. All right, and then we're going to finish that up by going full speed. Here we go. All right, so we're going to move on to our next song, and you should not need to pick for the rest of. All right, so this next song is a very famous song by Pink Floyd. It is entitled Money. I don't know how many of you have heard of it, but it is a quite famous song, and I'm just going to play you this riff right now, and then we will get into how to play it. All right, let's do this. So as you can see, it's actually quite easy. Don't let the time signature and everything fool you. Nothing's that complicated. You'll see the 7/4, it just means there's 7 beats in a measure, and the quarter note gets the beat. And you can actually see that in here. You'll see a bunch of notes in one measure, and that's why. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our index finger on the 2nd fret of the A string. So I'm going to suggest for that one, instead it's all swung. Dun, 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 dun. So it's all nice and swung. So every rhythm is a little bit off. We can go over that in another video. Just let me know in the comments if you guys want to learn a little more about swing tempo. So what you're going to do is you're going to start with that, and then pinky to the octave, and then ring finger plays that equivalent. And then you're going to be reaching for that 5 off of that 2. And that's it. So let's work on that swing tempo. So it's 1, 1, 2, and 3. So that 2 gets held out long because the rest of it is nice and short. So let's work on that. 1, 2, and 3. Let's play that nice and slow. Now, let's try incorporating that with the rest of the riff. Let's try speeding it up just a tad bit if you guys have been figuring it out. Alright, so let's try and play this at full speed. It is 125 beats per minute. Alright, so let's move on to our final riff. Alright, so for this final riff, I'm going to leave it all up right now. I'm sure you will recognize it by the end. So let's get into this. So this one, well, I'm just going to play it and then let's see if you recognize it. With that one long note, you might not. Let's try that one more time. You recognize it? Let me know down in the comments if you recognize it. Anyways, let's move on. So we're going to break this down section by section. Although there's not too much to understand. Alright, so in this first half, it's nice and easy. So we start with a pickup note on the and of 4. So what that means is in the count-in, we would be going 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's just the and. So if we were counting in eighth notes, it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And for this one, it is important to be watching your notation on the top also, because you do see that that E is tied in, so it's actually one whole beat. So it would be and 2 and 3, 3 and 2, because there are a lot of ties in this song. So let's try and run this whole thing nice and slow. We're going to leave out that one because that is another pickup note, as you'll see. But let's try just that first measure, not including the pickup note. So it is. So I'm going to suggest you do middle finger up to index and then stretch that pinky out to the 5 and then down to the 2, because then you can do either ring or pinky for your 4, whichever you feel more comfortable with. And then for that second note, and for those, you're going to mute them, so it's just. All right, so let's try and run this entire section nice and slow. All right, let's try and run this at full speed, and then we'll go on to the second half. All right, now let's go on to the second half. All right, so this second half is nice and easy. So we start with that E pickup again, which is nice and simple to do. It's just that E for one beat. So it's pretty much the exact same thing as the top. So as I said, this is a very easy song. It is, because it's just pick up 3, 2, 5, 2, 4, 2, 5. And that's it. That's the entirety of the second half. You already know it. Let's just try and play the entire song. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's try running that at full speed so you guys can know how to play. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you really play this a lot, you actually can get into the groove, kind of move around. You can really feel it. All right. So let's just go, and I want to talk to you guys a little bit. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. There's a few more things I wanted to mention before you go, so hang on a second. August 17th, my first single gets released on all streaming platforms, no matter where you go, from Amazon to YouTube to Spotify, wherever you go. My first single, Fury of Fire, gets released August 17th. So get hyped for that. Along with that, we are currently working on some fun stuff for the next couple weeks for streams. So make sure you tune in. Today, Wednesday, at 4 p.m., we're doing a cowbell stream for about the first hour, and then we're going to transition over to some VR, where we're going to get to watch some sea otters for a little bit, possibly. I don't know. It's just rumors that I've heard. We might be watching some sea otters. Then, along with that, I just wanted to thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you go head over to the Twitch and give it a follow. We are doing a couple of different very fun things, such as in 2 followers, we are currently at 23. Once we hit 25, I am going to be playing Through the Fire and the Flames in its entirety on my base. And at 50, I'm doing a giveaway combined with my Discord. So also make sure you go join the Discord. Link is also in the description. Make sure you go join and hang out there. We got some fun stuff taking place over there. So thank you again for watching. Make sure you leave a like and comment below what you would like to see next. And I'll see you next time.